Okay, what's going on, guys? I guess it's a new episode and I'm going to solve my problems with adding more power. That's how I'm going to do it. Add more power is going to solve all my issues. So I have the majority of a nitrous kit here. I have a couple of feed lines. I have a bottle warmer. I have a couple more lines and a whole bunch of little nitrous jets. The bottles are actually out to be filled because there's nowhere in my town that can do it, so they're gone 5 hours south of here with someone, and then he's gonna get them filled and bring back. So it's kind of a pain in the ass for nitrous here, but what can you do? So I'll show you, like I already mocked it up kind of. So it is a Zex nitrous kit. It's just a single fogger. It's adjustable from 50 to 175 horsepower, I think. But I don't know if I can go all the way 175 with the fuel because it's E98 and it requires more fuel. So then the lines just run here and then to this controller box, which is kind of mounted in there. It's not going to move. I'm really hoping that it's all just temporary and that a new torque converter will just solve my issues. I just don't want to pull the torque converter out, send it across the border, and then probably wait a couple weeks to get it back and then miss the whole racing season. So this is the alternative. And then I can just leave it on there essentially if I ever want to use it again. Or just go like direct port and get like 6 nozzles and a whole bunch of jets. I'm going to show you how this all works and why it makes power. So I'm not using an AN wrench. I should be using an AN wrench because I don't want to damage all that nice little purple stuff. And I actually have AN wrenches, which is kind of weird. But it only goes down to -4, so I can't use them. Alright, so we're going to pull out the fuel line first. We should pull out this whole jet so I can show you, but... So inside the AN line, there's a little tiny jet, and this is your nitrous jets. This one's the fuel one, and then there's one in the nitrous. And they are all like specifically sized, accurately sized jets. So this one's a 0.21, and this would represent a fuel jet for a 75 shot, I think. But in my so this is a 0.021 jet, and this would represent a fuel jet for a typical 75 shot of nitrous. However, because I'm using E98, I have to use a jet that's like 30% bigger. So I have to use a 75 shot fuel jet on a 55 shot nitrous jet just to get kind of where I need to be. So as it currently sits, this is a 55 shot in here. This is your air fuel mixture here. You adjust it by the jets, and then it goes through the nozzle, and then the nozzle's pointed up this way, and then it like kind of atomizes and some sprays into the manifold and kind of gets distributed. I picked this location because it was already tapped for a plug that was here. So they run through these -3 lines down into the controller box, and then on the other side of the controller box is -4 lines. So there's a fuel one and a nitrous one down here, and then the nitrous one is going to have to go inside the car somewhere. I have a line for that, but then the fuel one we're going to do, because we don't have an adapter fitting, there's actually a -6 plug on the back side of this regulator, and I'm going to take it off and I'm going to tap that for 1/8 NPT, and then I'm going to use my fuel line off that, and then we'll run the fuel line to here. And because I don't own a bench vise, and it runs really ghetto-ly into that little get-up setup I made down there. That is very, very temporary. That's just to get me running because I need to be at the track by Friday, and apparently we don't supply AN fittings like the rest of the world. And I guess the line comes in here. And I can essentially put it wherever I want, I guess. But I want to mount it right here on the floor, which is probably the best spot. I probably just tap into those for the brackets. Put the bottle right here, drill a hole in the floor for the blowdown tube, and then that's it. Now I need to figure out the wiring for this because one's like power, one's ground. But then this switch, I don't know which voltage I need for it. It's a throttle position switch. And that's 0 to 5 volts. But I just want to use the ECU to flick it on and off. So I don't know if I'm going to have to still put this to throttle position and then switch this one, or what am I going to have to do. I just have some wire here to test it. And what I want to see is if I can actually use just a 12 volt source to turn the Zex kit on, or if I have to actually use a TPS source, because I can actually program the TPS from my ECU. Oops. All right, so what I'm going to do is I just have some wires here and I'm going to test out if I can actually use this Zex kit the way I want to use it. What you have is you have the ground, you have the arm switch, and then you have a TPS. And I don't want to use the TPS because I can actually use that in my ECU. I can use whatever parameters I want to activate this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ground this one, the ground. So if I hook this red one up, okay, so the light comes on the module. And then this white one is TPS, but TPS is usually 0 to 5 volts. So I'm going to see if this will actually activate it with power too. Oh, wire fell off. Okay, yeah, you can hear that the solenoid came on and then the green light's actually flicking. So apparently I can use 12 volts to switch that on, which is perfect because I'll just couple power and TPS. Then if I activate them both at once, yeah, it'll just come on. So I'll just wire these two into a relay and then I'll switch the relay with my ECU. I'll just use one of the outputs. I hate wiring. I'm just putting that out there now. Wiring's stupid. Okay, I got the 2 bottles filled. I can only use one at the track, and here's the reason why. This one, the burst disc, it doesn't have an extension for a blowdown tube on it, so you can't have it exposed in the car. So this one will be for testing, and then this one will be for the track. And you can see that it has this blowdown tube. And that actually, if the burst disc breaks and bottle pressure gets too much, it'll blow it down through the floor. So I literally just have the bottle taped to the bar for now. I don't have the brackets installed yet on the floor, so I'm just going to put it here just for testing. I'm not actually going to launch it or anything like that. The line's hooked up. Then underneath the hood, I wanted to build everything so I could just take it out easy. So the relay is right here in the back, and then the wires are right here, and then the 2 lines. I do have another set of jets for a 75 shot. Right now it's 55 shot in it. And we're gonna see how that works first. But we gotta get the laptop out. All right, so we're gonna have to build some parameters for our new nitrous switch, which is ignition drive 7. Now, you can see that you only have 2 switch conditions on the side. And that's okay if you wanna just have it on all the time, but what I wanna do is I wanna have it on above 2,500 RPMs, below 5,000 with this throttle, with this amount of boost. So what you're gonna have to do, I'm only just learning this software now, is you actually go to auxiliary outputs and you make a virtual output. So this output will be, hey, on, general output on. And then you get 3 more options. So we want, you have to meet all the conditions. So condition 1, 2, and 3. So RPM is greater than 2,500. Condition 2, RPM less than 5,200. TPS greater than 80%. Okay, so we have, it's gonna be kind of loud, I think. I'll put the windows up. So that's our trans brake. When we plug it in, it's just this wire. And then it's this button. Okay, we'll start logging. Forward. And we'll see. Activated. Okay, we got it to work. Trans brake button. Okay, Okay, so that worked really well. I did set the RPM really low, and then I was actually hitting the RPM limit on nitrous, which is a bad idea. So what I have to do is I have to set up a map. I have to set up the map table so the nitrous cuts off when I hit a certain amount of boost. And I also have to raise the rev limiter because that is not where my peak torque is. If I can leave on a bit of boost at like 4,500 RPMs, I think I'll be good. Right now I was set at 4,000 just to test it. I was having an issue where without the nitrous it would stall out at about 3,100 RPMs. And that's because my car only makes about 150 foot-pounds of torque down there. And this nitrous gives it like probably another 65, 70 foot-pounds of torque probably. And that's exactly what I needed. So now I gotta hook up, or I have to, I got some bottle brackets here. And I'm just gonna get some plate, and I think I'm gonna hook it up exactly where my seat was. And that should work fine. I'll just probably weld these to the bar. So right here where my seat bar is, I'll put a piece of flat plate across here, and then I'll put this, I'll just weld this to the bar. So this is my bracket just tack welded into place. So I can just pull it out with the 4 bolts. And then these are just gonna mount on there. I'll weld those on too. And the bottle should sit right there in the passenger seat. Hopefully they'll blow down too long enough. Well, here's the final product with the bracket on the floor with the bottle. That's solid enough. This bottle's just temporary with no blowdown tube. I have to drill a hole in the floor for the other one. And I'll have to tuck away some of this line. But I think I'm going to do one more test. I'm going to get off the nitrous before the rev limiter, and I'm going to make the rev limiter higher and see what happens. Okay, you can't really see it, but you can see where it climbs and then it holds at... there's too much sunlight. You can see it climbs and then it holds, and that's where my RPM limit was set. It was... that was 4,300 RPM. 4,500 RPM. My rev limiter was actually set to 52, but it's going to take some tweaking and testing. So what I did was I turned on the nitrous at 2,500 RPM. I shut it off at 3,200 RPM, and then it looks like it stalled out at around 4,500 RPM and 10 PSI. So I can always play with that. I can keep the nitrous going all the way to 5,000 RPM, and then let boost take over, and then make my rev limiter 5,200 or something like that. This is just playing around with it and getting to know the software. I can guarantee it's going to leave a lot better at 4,500 RPMs than it would at 3,100 RPMs like it was before. It's currently jetted for a 55 shot of nitrous. However, I do have the jets for a 75 shot of nitrous, and I can pick up jets for a 100 shot of nitrous before I go to the track anyways. So I might pick those up and we can play with that at the track if need be, but the way it's sitting, it's perfect. I really only want the nitrous 4 on the line to launch it. And after I leave off the trans brake, the nitrous actually won't be on anymore anyways. So yeah, it's gonna be all boost after that. So I'll see you guys next time. I'll be at the track. Peace, easy.